What's up guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you haven't already, like, subscribe, hit that little bell notification if you haven't already. Most of my viewers are not subscribed. My goal is 100K by my birthday on October 7th. If you've on my TikTok, you've already seen I started a new POV series, and I'm kind of going to backtrack a little bit on here today for a video that is just what to expect when you get admitted to a psych hospital. So let's hit the intro.
In the world, you can be anything. Be the positive change that this world needs. Together, we can end the stigma of mental health. We can be the voices for those who are scared to speak up. Through this journey, I will be right by your side. I will be your biggest cheerleader. I'll be there on your worst days and your darkest nights.
I get this question a lot, and I feel like I've always kind of like gone through the stages of what happens when you get admitted, but not about the point of view of what you should expect and how you should be treated. And it breaks my freaking heart when I see all these comments in the comment section that are like, oh my gosh, I got treated so poorly, or they treated me like X, Y, and Z, or if only the staff was as nice as you are. No, that's not how it's supposed to be. We are there for a reason, and we are there to be your safe people. So I'm going to walk you through how you should be treated, and if you're not treated that way, I'm going to recommend that you write a grievance or a variance. Usually a hospital has a patient advocate. That's who you want to ask for. I would always do it while you're still at the hospital or right before you get discharged, because I think once you leave, it's a lot harder. I can't give a lot of advice because every state is different on how to report abuse, neglect, and all of that. I only know my 2 states. Same with like requirements for jobs. Every state's different. The best way to find that information is good old Google. But I wanted to talk about when you walk in through those doors, why the first impression's the biggest deal. When you guys are admitted and you walk on that floor, I have 30 seconds to set the tone. As a staff member, I have 30 seconds to read your room, to figure out how you're doing and how I'm going to approach you. And a lot of times for me at both facilities, there are kids who have been here before, so I will be a little silly with them if I can read that they're like open to it, or I'll give them a hug, or I'll introduce myself if they're new. But I try to get a vibe, because those 30 seconds that you walk through those doors onto that unit are gonna set your tone for the day, or at least start it off. And I want it to be as positive as possible, so I try to be as nice as I can, as soothing as I can, and as respectful as I can. The very first thing I say when I have an admit is, hi, I'm Miss Maddie, I'm going to be your unit staff. This is the girls unit, because I work girls unit. This is the girls unit, and if you have any questions, you can come to me. Before we start your paperwork, I want to get your name, your preferred name, and your pronouns, because it's really important to me that while you're here, you feel comfortable with who you are and be respected. I've been seeing a lot of where kids in my comment sections are saying that the hospital has to go by what the parents approve. That's not the way at our hospital. I can't speak on every hospital, and that's really scary if that actually happens in some places, because you go to a psych hospital to get better, to get treatment, to find out where your emotions are and how you can get help on the outside. You don't go to pretend to be something you're not. And so that's something that on my to-do list of things I want to change in the world is, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I would like to change it so that people will respect who you are and what you identify as. But I try to set the tone as happy. I mean, you're in a psych hospital. It's not going to be a super happy, roller coaster amusement park feel, but I try to set it to be like, hey, I'm trying to be cheery. I want to brighten your mood right now. I want you to know that you have a safe person. I will usually go over staff too. So like I'll bring them the scrubs, because we do make them wear scrubs, and we'll sit down, we'll get paper to do the admit, and I'll be like, okay, do you want a snack? Because 9 out of 10 times these kids have been in the ER for hours. So I'll be like, you want a snack? I got some juice over there. I have some fruit snacks. Like I'll tell them what I have and I let them pick. I don't make them change out of their clothes till the very end, because I want them to feel comfortable while I'm going over the rules. So I'll sit over there, and then I'll just kind of sit with them real quick, and I'll be like, okay, so I'm gonna like do a staff rundown. So I'm Miss Maddie, I talk a lot, I'm usually lead on the unit, and I like to have fun, but I'm also gonna be the strictest when it comes to rules, because I want you guys safe. But but if you need something, you can always come to me. And when you're in crisis, we can even come up with a code word. So if you're like, you know, apple juice or whatever, and that means I'm triggered, but I'm safe, and you're gonna go to the, you know, safe room, or just something like that. That way I can help you. Or I'll be like, okay, over here is Kayla. She's quiet. She, you have to approach her if you want to talk, whereas I will just come sit down and be like, what's up? What's wrong, Buttercup? Like, how can I help you? Where she will let you come to her. And then there's Anthony over here, who he runs a lot of the outside groups because he's more active. You might feel more comfortable with him because, you know, you said you prefer male staff over female staff. It's totally up to you. Or vice versa. You prefer female staff over male staff. And then, you know, we just kind of like talk. And I really make sure that I know your triggers before we even start the paperwork. Because if I'm asking you all these questions during your admission that are like, okay, like, here you are. And there's one paper we have them sign that's like, or write out, and it's like why they're there. And I hate that because obviously the kid knows why they're there. They have been told why they're there by the ER, by their parent, by the therapist, by the admit team. They know why they're there. Why are we having them say, oh, you're here for X, Y, Z? So I usually have them like write some sort of goal that's like, I'm here, but my goal when I leave is X, Y, Z. But if sometimes they'll be like, me talking about why I'm here is the most triggering thing ever. So I just snatch the paper and I just write on it, could not complete. The admit papers are just like consent forms, just stating, you know, the rules, like no food or drink inside the bedrooms, that kind of thing. And then I have them sign that. I go through everything with them so they feel comfortable, and then I kind of give them a vibe of the unit. Some days I'm like, okay, look, if you get triggered by loud noise, these girls are loud. I have noise canceling headphones we can use, or we can use the safe room and utilize it, like when you're, you know, leave the door open, just go in and out as you please. Or I'll be like, okay, do you get triggered by fighting? Because we got a bunch of fighters on the unit this time. I kind of try to give them a rundown of the vibe, obviously without scaring them, but just so that they're aware. Some days I'm like, hey, this is the biggest book or room of bookworms I've ever met. They've just wanted to read all day. Just trying to like ease them into like what they're going into. We have a huge board that has a schedule, so I'll be like, okay, look, so this is a schedule, we follow it, you do certain groups throughout the day. At night it's a little more chill, and kind of just get them acquainted, and I show them where everything is, I show them where their room is. I let them make their bed because sometimes people like their beds made different. I do. And then I'm like, do you want to take a shower? Because the biggest thing that relaxes me is a shower when I'm stressed. And I know as a kid, it could be pretty stressful getting into a new facility and being an admit for the first time, or repetitively. It's stressful anytime. So I'm like, do you want a shower? I can go get the stuff if you feel safe. You can take a shower and then change into a fresh pair of scrubs. And shower time's again in like 6 to 8 hours, but if you want to do it again, that's fine. 9 out of 10 times they'll say yes, they want to take a shower, and I don't blame them, so I let them. The only time that doesn't really happen is if we're not on the unit, we're all outside and they get admitted outside and one of us has to come up, but we have to go right back down with them. I will usually say when we get back, you can do it. And then, yeah, and then I just try to like check on them throughout the day because, again, being a new admit can be scary. You're in a whole new environment. You're in a area you don't know, like the people. You're making friends. It's like the first day of school all over again. But I want you to know that the staff has your back. I want you to know that, like, if you feel awkward or someone's making you feel awkward, you can be like, Miss Maddie, I don't feel comfortable around XYZ. I really need you to, like, butt in and, like, tell them I don't want to, like, sit by them. Or, like, you're like, hey, I'm struggling heavy making friends. Like, can we do a group where we get to know each other? Like, something like that. Like, I want you to be comfortable. And then I always make sure you know my schedule. Because I'm such a big person on, if a kid is having a bad day and they specifically want me, call me into work. Just call me into work. Like, I would much rather spend my day off, half a day. I usually can't do a full day, but like, or bring them a snack, or like just comfort them, because that shows them that there are people in the world that care. Like, even if they don't have anyone consistent in their life, it shows them that one day there will be someone. And I always try to preach to everyone that, like, trust is earned, it's not given. And I work so hard to earn these kids' trust, because at the end of the day, trauma is trauma, and they've gone through it. And there's no way to compare it. There's no way to just fix it. Like, you have to work with them. And what better way to work with them than being like, hey, I will be here if you need me. And sometimes it doesn't always happen like that, but I try to make it happen. Also, I want to tell you that if a staff doesn't use your pronouns and laughs or makes fun of you, that is not okay. You need to speak up for yourself. Or come to a staff like myself and be like, Miss Maddie, so-and-so's not respecting my pronouns and it's really triggering me. Because the sad thing is, a lot of the kids we get are SI because they're trying to figure out who they are, and they're experimenting with pronouns, or they're experimenting with a name or an identity or sexuality or anything like that, and their parents don't accept it, or they're being bullied for it, and it's making them extremely SI. And that's why I work so hard in being like, we are going to respect them. We are going to sit down and we are going to let them tell us how they feel and how they want to be addressed. I want you guys to leave comments on what you want to see. Like I said, I have a full notebook. I am going to be pushing YouTube really hard because I really want to hit 100,000 for my birthday gift. But yeah, I love you guys. It might be a bad day, month, year, but it is not a bad life. And remember, I am not a doctor or a nurse. I am just staff on the unit. Love you guys.